John, let's just clarify first, because I know I was speaking to the Dundalk press officer last night, the roles that yourself and Vinny have. So you're the first team coach at Dundalk this season.
I'm first team coach. My remit is the first team. Vinny is head coach. Rory Higgins is assistant head coach. Their remit will go down as far as the under 13s, 15s, 17s, 19s. My remit is solely the first team.
So the relationship between yourself and Vinny when it comes to first team matters. How do you, I suppose, divide responsibilities?
It's a discussion. It's a management structure. It's probably a bit different and probably a bit hard for people to get their head around from outside the club. But we know what way it works. The players know exactly what way it works. It's been a seamless transition. Like you're going in filling a big pair of shoes. But I think we've done that. It's been seamless. It's been a privilege to be around the group. Great motivated bunch of players. Good management team, young management, vibrant management team behind it. It's all systems go. It's business as usual.
You mentioned those big shoes, like Stephen Kenny obviously leaving the club. It leaves a massive void, and I suppose, do you feel there's a little bit of pressure there because he's had so much success, and the fans will expect the same kind of success over the next couple of seasons?
Yeah, I think that's natural, but maybe what people tend to forget is that it wasn't only Stephen that won the leagues. It's players win games. Managers get too much credit when things go well, and they get too much stick when things don't go well. It was a team effort up there. That's no fault of Stephen's. Stephen is he was the figurehead, but really it comes down to players. And once you've good players with good habits, with hunger and motivation, that's what wins trophies.
So, when you look at I suppose you had your opening game already, the President's Cup, you beat Cork City. Do you take too much from that game, or do you tend to just forget about it and move on to the start of the season?
No, listen, it was a friendly. It was part of pre-season programme. It was a very competitive game. I can see it was my first taste of the Cork-Dundalk rivalry. A lot of rivalry there. It was a great game. It played at a very high tempo. We played particularly well, so did they. We were pleased to come out the right end of a good result, but it was part of our pre-season programme. We trained yesterday, we'll be in again today. So it's gearing up towards the season and Sligo on Friday.
Do you think, because we've seen over the last couple of seasons it's been Dundalk and Cork fighting out, and there's been a big gap then to the third team, is it going to be the same this season, or can you see other clubs there closing the gap?
No, I definitely think, Stephen, this year, anybody that knows League and Run of Football, Pats have, Harry Kenny's recruited really, really well. Rovers the same. They've been building the last 2 or 3 years. Waterford are still a very good side. Cork, everybody's telling me that anybody you speak to, Cork won't be the same. Let me tell you something, Cork aren't going away, and any John Caulfield team is always going to put up a stern fight. They've earned the right to be where they are, and they certainly aren't going away. So I think it's good for the league that it's going to be more competitive. You don't want two teams, Stephen, running away with it. You don't want a Celtic and Rangers scenario. We want a vibrant league. 4 or 5 teams this year who I think are really going to go hammer and tongs at it. You've probably got 5 other teams who probably haven't got the resources that the 5 I've mentioned to you haven't got, but they will still take points. And I think the league may come down to how well you do against the teams that are in probably the bottom half of the league. If you drop too many points there and you keep your eye solely on your nearest rivals, you can take your eye off the ball. This is a dog-eat-dog league. That's the one thing I've learned over the years. You can take nothing for granted. You treat each game with the same respect as every game. And if you do that and squeeze as much out of yourself as you can, you'll be successful. But again, I come back to it's down to players. If players have the hunger and the drive to do it, and certainly from what I've seen in Dundalk, been there 5 weeks, and it's been an eye-opening 5 weeks.
Are you happy with the signings so far this season, and would you like a couple more?
Yeah, the 4 boys we brought in have been really, really good. McCreary's a very good goalkeeper. He's played at a very high level in England. Young Dan Kelly had a sensational season for Bohs last year. And Jordan Flores and Sean Murray have been two very quiet, but they're 2 excellent acquisitions. And again, nobody knows them, nobody's seen them. I've seen them in training the last 4 or 5 weeks. Well, certainly Murray the last 2 weeks. Flores has been with us probably 4. He joined in full contact training this week. Quality. We are looking to maybe bring in 1 or 2 more, but they've got to be the right ones. They've got to fit into the culture that's been built up there, which is very much player driven. If they come up, we definitely feel we'd like to get 1 or 2 more in, but we'll only get them in if we feel they'll add to the group.
You mentioned the culture at the club, and I suppose a lot of that is driven by, or has been over the last number of years, by Stephen O'Donnell, who of course won't be playing anymore, unfortunately. But what can he bring in his new role around the club?
Well, obviously he's come in as a recruitment and our scout. He's a great knowledge of the game. Stephen goes and watches opposition teams that we're going to play. He also has a big big say and a big help in recruitment when we identify players, doing background checks and going and watching them and getting as much information on them as we can. He's probably one of the best, probably the most respected player in the league. His trophy haul is probably second to none. But the good thing about it, he's such a nice guy as well. And you're right what you say, the players in Dundalk totally respect him. The respect that he's held in is, I can see why they respect him for what he's done. He's still part of the group. Players know that. And I think the players are in a good place as well with it. I'm glad that Stephen didn't go elsewhere. I'm glad that he decided to stay with us, because I think we've built up a really good management structure there at the moment. It's helped the transition. It's been seamless. Again, that will be proven in the next few months with results, because it's a result-driven business. But I think we're in a good place.
Pat Hooban, sensational last year. Can he score as many goals as he did this season?
Well, all I can say to you is that he missed the first 2 or 3 games of last season. He was a bit behind in pre-season last year. This year he's come back like a man possessed. He's actually as fit as I've seen Pat Hooban be. We've tailored his pre-season. He's worked really extremely hard, but we had a particular pre-season for him the first 2 or 3 weeks. He bought into it. He's come back in absolutely peak physical condition. And actually the last 2 weeks, it's like a button has gone off in Pat's head, because he's a different animal the last 2 weeks. The game against friendly against Longford, and certainly down in Cork on Saturday, I'm not saying he's going to surpass 29 goals, but if there's any guy capable of doing it, Pat Hooban is.
That's bad news for Sligo Rovers supporters making their trip to Oriel Park for the first night of the season. John, what are you expecting from Sligo?
I don't know, Stephen, because it's been obviously a sea of change up there. Liam Buckley's gone in. We all know the kind of football that he likes to play. He was very successful with St. Pat's. They seem to have gone out culturally. They've signed a lot of players from different backgrounds, different countries. It's a new group. So that may play in our favour, the fact that it's a new group gelling together, but we'll treat them with the utmost respect, as we will all clubs. It's going to be a tough battle, we know that. There's going to be no easy games in this league, no given games. We've got to do our business right, prepare properly, which we have done, and hopefully get off to a good start. But we'll be treating Sligo with the utmost respect. I think it may, when they get their best 11 on the pitch, they're going to be a match for anybody.
John, best of luck this year, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, Stephen.